Hello guys, welcome to my second class on single random variables. In my previous class, we discussed about introduction to single random variables and types of single random variables. So in this lecture video, we'll be discussing briefly about probability mass function, cumulative distribution function for the discrete random variable case, and problems based on the discrete random variables. So first we will see what is PMF and CDF in discrete random variable and how to find this PMF and CDF in discrete random variable. Probability mass function. In a simple way, we'll be calling this probability mass function as PMF. So the formula to calculate this probability mass function is P of xk is equal to Px is equal to xk. So it means that we'll be taking the particular value of the random variable x here. Okay, we already learned how to what is cumulative distribution function. Now we'll be learning how to calculate the cumulative distribution function for the discrete random variable. If x is a discrete random variable, then it takes all the values at discrete points. Therefore, CDF can be defined for this case as fx of x is equal to p of x, which is less than or equal to x. Suppose if I take x values like x is equal to x1, x2, x3, x4 and so on till xn. So the CDF for discrete random variable for the complete range of x can be defined as follows. I mean the formula to calculate the CDF for the above range of x values is fx of x is equal to, it will be 0 always when means for the range of x is minus infinity less than x less than x1, and it will be equal to summation I from 1 to n p of x is equal to xi for x1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to x1, and it will be equal to 1, it will be equal to 1 for xn less than x less than infinity. So this formula we will be using to calculate the CDF in the case of discrete random variables. The problems based on discrete random variable. Example number 1. A random variable x has the following probability function. The range of x is given like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the corresponding p of x is given by 0. At x is equal to 0, the value will be 0. At x is equal to 1, p of x will be k. At x is equal to 2, p of x will be 2k. At x is equal to 3, p of x will be 2k. At x is equal to 4, p of x will be 3k. At x is equal to 5, p of x will be k square. At x is equal to 6, p of x will be 2k square. At x is equal to 7, p of x will be 7k square plus k. I mean we can say like this also. P of 0 is equal to 0, p of 1 is equal to k, p of 2 is equal to 2k, p of 3 is equal to 2k, p of 4 is equal to 3k, p of 5 is equal to k square, p of 6 is equal to 2k square, p of 7 is equal to 7k square plus k. So now from this data we are supposed to find the value of constant k, and also we have to evaluate p of x is 60 less than 6, p of x is greater than or equal to 6, and p of 0 less than x less than 5. So now we will find the value of k first. So usually to find the value of k for the discrete random variable cases, we must follow two conditions. The first condition is all the p of x values must be positive, but here the data is given in the form of k. To say that p of x is positive, the k must be positive is the first condition. The second condition is summation p of x must be equal to 1. I mean adding all the p of x values, the sum should be equal to 1 we have to get. So now with this condition I'm going to find the value of k. Okay, so as I told, like we must have p of x is greater than or equal to 0 for all k is greater than or equal to 0. I mean p of x and k must be positive, and summation p of x is equal to 1. So summation p of x in the sense I'm going to add all the values of p of x and I'm going to equate that particular value to 1. So what we'll be getting? 0 plus k plus 2k plus 3k plus k square plus 2k square plus 7k square plus k is equal to 1. Like after adding all this, we'll be getting 10k square plus 9k is equal to 1. I'm going to shift the 1 to LHS. We'll be getting the equation like 10k square plus 9k minus 1 is equal to 0. So now we have to factorize this equation. 10k square plus 9k minus 1 is equal to 0. Like how to factorize means by adding we have to get 9, by multiplying we have to get minus 10. So like that only we have to choose the root here. So I'm going to choose a root like 10 into 10 and minus 1. we can see that if I multiply 10 with minus 1, I'll get minus 10 for this case. And if I add 10 with minus 1, I'll get plus 9. So I can choose 10 and minus 1 here. So I got the equation like now 10k square plus 10k minus k minus 1 is equal to 0. So since here I'm taking 10k common factor from first two terms, I'll be getting 10k into k plus 1. From this one I will take minus 1 common factor. I will be getting minus 1 into k plus 1 is equal to 0. From these two equations I'll be taking k plus 1 common factor. I'll be getting 10k minus 1 into k plus 1 is equal to 0. So on simplifying this, we'll be getting k is equal to 1 by 10 here and k is equal to minus 1 here. So as I told, like to find the value of k, the k must be positive along with p of x must be positive. So since k is only positive values I am taking, I cannot take k is equal to minus 1 here since it is negative. So the value of k will be equal to 1 by 10. So now what we have to do means, after finding the value of k, we have to replace this k value in the previous distribution table. So after finding the value of k, I am going to replace the k value in this table. So what we'll be getting now? It will be equal to same 0 only. This is 1 by 10, 2 by 10, 2 by 10, 3 by 10, 1 by 100, 2 by 100 and so on like that. So now I'm going to calculate p of x is less than 6, p of x is greater than or equal to 6 and p of 0 strictly less than x less than 5. So to calculate p of x is strictly less than 6 in the sense, we have to exclude the value 6 and we have to take remaining all the values. So p of x is less than 6 in the sense, start from p of 0 till p of 5, we have to take the values. P of x is greater than or equal to 6 in the sense, we have to include x also. So take the values 6 and above. So p of 6 plus p of 7 will be the equation for p of x is greater than or equal to 6. And p of 0 less than x less than 5 in the sense, we have to exclude 0 and 5. So between 0 and 5, take all the values, that is p of 1 plus p of 2 plus p of 3 plus p of 4 we're supposed to take. So now we'll see how to find that. The first one is p of x is strictly less than 6. So to find that, I'm going to exclude 6. So I'll be taking p of 0 plus p of 1 plus p of 2 plus p of 3 plus p of 4 plus p of 5. So now add all the values, that is 0 plus k plus 2k plus 3k plus k square. Like after adding, we'll be getting 8k plus k square. Since we are having k is equal to 1 by 10, we'll be getting 8 by 10 plus 1 by 10 whole square. The value will be 81 by 100 after simplification. Similarly, p of x is greater than or equal to 6. It will be equal to what? P of 6 plus p of 7. I'm including 6 also here. Since it is greater than or equal to 6, we have to include 6 also. So I'm taking p of 6 plus p of 7. Like after adding, we'll be getting 2k square plus 7k square plus k. It will be equal to 9k square plus k. I got 9 by 100 plus 1 by 10 is equal to 19 by 100. Since k is equal to 1 by 10, I'm putting k is equal to 1 by 10 in the equation. I got the value. And last one, p of 0 less than x less than 5. So it will be equal to what? P of 1, p of 2, p of 3, p of 4. I'm excluding 0 and 5 here. I'm calculating the value. So adding all, I'll be getting k plus 2k plus 2k plus 3k is equal to 8k is equal to 8 by 10. Since k is equal to 1 by 10, I got the value 8 by 10. A small note on unit step function and unit impulse function. Okay, to calculate the CDF for unit step function, the formula is given by fx of x is equal to summation I from 1 to n pi u of x minus xi, where this u is nothing but unit step function. Similarly, to calculate PDF for unit impulse function, or we can call it as a delta function also, and the formula is given by small fx of x is equal to summation I from 1 to n pi delta x minus xi. So as I told, like the PDF can be useful for discrete random variable case also. Problem number 2. The given data in the following table is given like k is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yk is given by 2.1, 3.2, 4.8, 5.4, 6.9. P of yk is given by 0.20, 0.21, 0.19, 0.14, 0.26. So from this data, we have to plot the PMF and CDF for a discrete random variable y, and also write the expression for fy of y, I mean the PDF, and CDF capital Fy of y using unit delta function and unit step function. Okay, now before plotting PMF and CDF, I'll be explaining how to calculate CDF. Okay, so now we can see here at the point yk. Okay, at the point yk, the CDF will be same only, 0.20 only will be having. But at the point 32, we have to add the previous one and present one. So I'll be getting 0.41 after adding these two. At y is equal to 4.8, we have to add previous two with present one, that is 0.19 plus 0.21 plus 0.20 we have to add, we'll be getting the value 0.60. Similarly, at y is equal to 5.4, we have to add previous 3 plus present one, that is 0.20 plus 0.21 plus 0.19 plus 0.14, we'll be getting 0.74. At last, at 6.9, we have to add complete equation, that is 0.20, 0.21, 0.19 and 0.14, 0.26. And we have to note that always at the last value of x or y, the CDF must be equal to 1. Now we can note here, after adding these complete values, the value will be equal to 1. So hence the table is verified. So now I am going to plot the PMF and CDF plots. So CDF, since the values of y and CDF can be taken here, I am taking the value of yk in this plane and CDF in this plane. So now at 2.1, I am keeping the 0.20 as 0.20 as it is only. At 3.2, I am adding previous one and present one, I got 0.41, I am plotting here. Again at 4.8, I am adding previous two and present one, I got 0.60, I am plotting here. Again at 5.4, I am adding previous 3 and present one, I got the value 0.74, I am plotting here. And finally at 6.9, I am adding all previous 4 and present 1, I got the value 1, I am plotting here. So this is a plot for CDF in the discrete random variable cases. Similarly, PF can be taken directly. So at 2.1, I am plotting 2.0, arrow like this. At 3.2, plot 2.21. At 4.8, plot 0.19. At 5.4, plot 0.14. At 6.9, plot the 0.26 in the YK and PMF plane. So now last thing, we'll be finding the delta function, we'll be finding PDF and CDF for delta function and unit step function. So the formula is given by Fy of y is equal to summation I from 1 to n pi delta y minus y. So this is given by 0.2 delta y minus 2.1. I'm putting the first yk value here, 0.21 delta y minus 3.2. This is y2 value, 0.19 delta y minus 4.8. 0.14 delta y minus 5.4, 0.26 delta y minus 6.9. Similarly, the CDF is given by summation I from 1 to n pi u y minus yi. It is given by 0.2 u y minus 2.1, 0.21 u y minus 3.2, 0.19 u y minus 4.8, plus 0.14 u y minus 5.4 plus 0.26 u y minus 6.9. If we know the value of y, we can calculate the complete value of CDF as well as PDF also. Problem number 3. A 3-digit message is transmitted over a noisy channel having the probability of error is P of E, that is 2 by 5 they have given per digit. So now find and plot the cumulative distribution function. Okay, like what they have given the probability of the error per digit, that is P of E they have given. It is given by 2 by 5 per digit. So now I'm going to find the probability of correct digit now. So since E is an error digit, I'm taking C as a correct digit now, that is P of C. And the formula to calculate P of C is given by 1 minus P of E. So this formula has been obtained by P plus Q is equal to 1. Okay, to calculate P will be using 1 minus Q. To calculate Q will be using 1 minus C. So P and Q is nothing but, P is nothing but success, Q is nothing but failure. So here C is nothing but success and E is nothing but a failure. So I'm going to use the same formula here also. So now I'll be calculating P of C. So P of C is equal to 1 minus P of E is a formula. I got 1 minus 2 by 5, it will be equal to 3 by 5. So now let C denote the correct digit and E denotes the error digit. Then the sample space of 3-digit message will be what? Because it's a combination of C and E here. So the sample space will be CCC, CCE, CEC, ECC, CEE, ECE, EEC and EEE will be having the sample space. So now the thing is like, we have to define the random variable now. So now the random variable X can be represented in 4 values. The first thing is no error at all. I mean all CCC will be having. So it is given by X naught. Next is 1 digit error. I mean the sample space will be having CCE, CEC and ECC. It is given by x1. Next is two-digit error. So the sample space will having the combination like CEE, ECE and EEC. It is denoted by x2. And last one is three-digit error. So no C values here, only E will be having, that is EE. So it is denoted by x3. So now I'm going to find all the probabilities. So let P of x is equal to x naught in the sense chance of having no error, that is x naught only, right? So x naught is equal to, we are having CCC. So we are having only one outcome. So now the calculation of P of x is equal to x naught will be given by P of C, P of C, P of C into 1. This is 1 is for, since I'm having only one possibility, so I'm taking 1 here. So it is given by 3 by 5 into 3 by 5 into 3 by 5 into 1 will be having 27 by 125. So next, let P of x is equal to x1. Chance of having one digit error. I mean the sample space will be what? X1 is equal to CCE, CEC, ECC. So by calculating P of x equal to x1, we'll be getting P of C into P of C into P of E into 3. So this 3 is for, since the sample space having 3 possible cases, I'm taking 3 here. So 3 by 5 into 3 by 5 into 2 by 5 is equal to 3 is equal to 54 by 125. So next one, let P of x is equal to x2. Chance of having two-digit error, that is x2 is given by the sample space CEE, ECE and EEC. So the calculation of P of x is equal to x2 is given by P of C, P of E into 3. It is given by 3 by 5, 3 by 5, 2 by 5. So since this sample space having 3 possible cases, so I'm taking into 3 here. So it is equal to 36 by 125. And last one, P of x is equal to x3. Chance of having 3-digit error, the sample space is x3 is equal to EEE. The calculation will be given by P of x is equal to x3, P of E into P of E into P of E into 1. Since I'm having only one possible case, I'm taking into 1 here, that is 2 by 5 into 2 by 5 into 2 by 5 into 1 is equal to 8 by 125. So since we got all the PMFs now, I'll be calculating the CDF value. Okay, so the first thing always 0 only. This is for a non-possible event, that is P of x will be equal to 0 for x is less than x naught. So now I'm going to calculate f of the CDF for x naught. I mean I'm going to calculate fx of x naught. It is given by P of x is less than or equal to x naught. So include all the values less than x naught and equal to x naught also. That is P of x is less than x naught plus P of x is equal to x naught. It will be equal to 0 plus 27 by 125 plus is equal to we'll be getting 27 by 125. So next is fx of x1. So I'm going to include the values P of x is less than or equal to x1. It means P of x less than x naught, P of x is equal to x naught and P of x is equal to x1. So we are going to include here. So it will be equal to 0, 27 by 125, 54 by 125 is equal to 81 by 125. And next one is fx of x2. P of x is less than or equal to x naught. So include all the values till x2 here. That is P of x is less than x naught, P of x is equal to x naught plus P of x is equal to x1 plus P of x is equal to x2. So adding all the values now, that is 0 plus 27 by 125 plus 54 by 125 plus 36 by 125 is equal to 117 by 125. Last one, fx of x3. So P of x is less than or equal to x3. It must be 1 always. Okay, so I'm going to include all the values less than or equal to x3 here. That is P of x is less than x2, x naught plus P of x is equal to x naught, P of x is equal to x1, P of x is equal to x2 plus P of x is equal to x3. So we'll be getting 0 plus 27 by 125 plus 54 by 125 plus 36 by 125 plus 8 by 125. So by calculating this, we'll be getting the value 1. So hence the data is true, what we found now. So now finally I'm going to plot the CDF for the obtained CDF value. So at x0, x1, x2, I'm going to plot the CDF now. So take the all x0, x1, x2, x3 in the x plane and all these CDF values in the CDF plane. So at x0 I'm plotting 27 by 125. At x1 I'm plotting 81 by 125. At x2 I'm plotting 117 by 125. At x3 I'm plotting 1. Okay, in the next lecture video, we'll be discussing about the continuous random variable case. It means that I'll be discussing how to find PDF and CDF in the case of continuous random variable and problems on continuous random variable. Thank you.